Hi guys, it's Olivia here from Olivia's Catastrophe, and today I'm here to give you my OWLs TBR, but also my TBR for my self-inflicted 30 books in 30 days reading challenge that I'm going to be doing in the month of April. I've done this once before in November 2018 and I thought, why not do it again? So for my OWLs, I've decided to go for care of magical children as my career, and I'm also going to be taking merpeople linguistics because I love mermaids and I love children, which is why I've chosen these two things for me to pursue in my OWLs. So let's get right down to which books fit the OWL prompts first. My first class that I'm taking is arithmetic, and you're supposed to read something out of your favourite genre. However, I love a lot of genres, so I don't have a genre I like the least, but for this one I chose Stories from Arendelle, and this is a Disney Frozen book. This was gifted to me by the au pair child that I looked after in January/February when I left, and I don't really like Frozen. I don't dislike it, but I don't actually like it, so I guess it's outside of my favourite genre, as it's not something I would have picked up myself, but I'm going to read it because he is the cutest and it's so sweet that he chose this for me. Then for charms, I need to read something with a white cover, and for that one I have Dreamology by Lucy Keating. It's quite a white cover, it's quite bright, and I know this is a contemporary with some magical realism, fabulism thrown in, so curious to see what this is going to be like. I've had it on my to-read list for a very long time. Then for Defense Against the Dark Arts, I need to read a book set at the sea or at the coast. And for Transfiguration, I need to read a book that has shapeshifting in it. And I know that both appear in The Voyage of the Dawn Treader by C.S. Lewis. This is the fifth book in the Narnia series, and because I've watched the film, I know that some shapeshifting does occur for a certain character. But that said, I am going to be reading all the rest of the series as well, because I'm doing my 30 books in 30 days challenge, and I thought it'd be good to finish a series that I've started. So I've already read 2 of this series before, which is The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe and The Horse Boy. No, the Boy and the Horse, or something like that. So I still need to read Prince Caspian, The Silver Chair, The Last Battle, and The Magician's Nephew, which I will also be reading in the month of April, but that's aside from my OWLs. Let's go back to the books on my OWLs list. So for Herbology, you need to read a book that starts with an I, and I've chosen It by Stephen King. I'm also working on reading one of my big books every single month. I'm not sure if you've noticed that trend, but that was a secret resolution that I had for myself. It's been going quite well, and it is a chunker, so that is going to be my read for April. Then for History of Magic, you need to read a book that features wizards and witches, and for that I've chosen Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. It involves sorcery and sorcerers, so I'm just counting that like wizard, witches and sorcerers. I hope that's okay. This one was gifted to me by Sydney from Sydney Stories, so thank you so much, Sydney. I cannot wait to read it, as I loved An Enchantment of Ravens. Then for Muggle Studies, I need to read a book that is a contemporary from a human's perspective, and for that one I've chosen American Sweethearts by Adriana Herrera. This is a new adult MF. So the rest of the series has been MM romances, but this is a male-female romance, and it's new adult, and it follows the last character from the friendship gang that we've been following and seeing all of their romances. I'm just so excited because there's not a single book in this series that I rated less than 4 stars. I absolutely love Adriana's writing. She always brings culture to the forefront as well as other important themes, and she's just an amazing writer. I will be reviewing this one on my blog and on my Instagram, so links to those down below. Watch out for that coming around the beginning of April. And then last but not least, for potions, I need to read a book under 150 pages, and for that I'm going to be reading Ghosts by Henrik Ibsen, which is a play, and this is a bind-up of 4 of his plays. I've already read the first one in here, which is A Doll's House, which I absolutely loved, so I'm looking forward to reading Ghosts by him. And then, because I'm reading 30 books in 30 days, I thought, why not just finish the whole book and read the other 2 plays by him in this book, which are Hedda Gabler and The Master Builder. So I'm looking forward to reading just more of his plays, and it'd be nice to take a break from reading novels by reading plays. And now that my OWLs TBR is out of the way, let's go on to the rest of the books that I'm planning to read for my 30 books in 30 days self-inflicted challenge. Feel free to join me if you want though, I would love it. I'm going to have vlogs up every week so that you can read along with me. So the first books that I'm also going to finish are Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. Again, I don't know why I've chosen these ones because they're quite big, but I want to read them, so I've chosen them. I am really trying to start and finish some series in the month of April, as you can tell. Very excited, heard very good things about those two. Then we have Reveled by Mary Lou. This is a spin-off of the Legend series by Mary Lou, which I absolutely read and devoured back in 2017, 2018. So I can't wait to read more by her. Again, this was gifted to me by Sydney from Sydney Stories, who's just so lovely. So do check out her channel, link down below. Then we have my complete collection of Sherlock Holmes. I will not be reading them from this collection. I have actually not read any of them from this collection because I do have the audiobook where Stephen Fry reads all of these stories to me, but I have 3 more left to finish, which are His Last Vow, The Return of Sherlock Holmes, and The Valley of Fear. So I hope to finish those 3 short story collections by listening to Stephen Fry read them to me throughout the month. I just can't believe I have this book and I have not actually physically opened it to read it, but hey, somehow that's just how it goes. Then we have another series, and that is the Chocolate Box Girls series by Cathy Cassidy. Now, these are books that I read when I was younger. I loved everything by this author when I was a young teenager, so like 12, 13, and she writes like romances for really young adults. And I just remember loving everything she wrote, but I never finished this series because I moved on from younger books to upper young adult before I finished the series. But I've decided I want to go back to the beginning and just read all of my way through, and I'm so excited because I feel like I'm going to have so much fun just reminiscing with her writing and everything. So the first one is Cherry Crush, and then we've got Marshmallow Sky, and then we've got Summer Dreams, then we've got Cocoa Caramel, then we've got Sweet Honey, and lastly we have got Fortune Cookie. So can't wait to read all of these. On the trend of finishing series, I have Airhead Run Away by Meg Cabot. Again, similar with Cathy Cassidy, I started this series when I was like 12 to 13 to 14, and then I just moved on to upper young adult and totally abandoned it. This is the last book in the trilogy, and I have a vague memory of what happens in book 1 and 2, but I am going to read some plot summaries before I get round to this one and just finish off the trilogy once and for all so it's not hanging over my head. And then last but not least, for the last 4 books I'm going to be reading, I have Sophie Mackenzie. On a similar note to the past 2 authors I've mentioned, I loved Sophie Mackenzie when I was around the same age as when I was loving Meg Cabot and Cathy Cassidy. And I started this series, similar note, never got around to finishing it because I just got distracted. They are romance books, and yeah, just looking forward to diving back in. These aren't my favourite from her, but they're the ones I own, so thought I would start here with getting back into her works. We've got Falling Fast, Defy the Stars, Burning Bright, and lastly Casting Shadows. So a couple of rereads and then a couple of finishing up series, starting new series, fantasy, everything. That's how my TBRs are always like. I've also got to do some reading for class, and I've also got to do a buddy read that I planned with Gaia Athena of When Dimple Met Rishi. Not sure where I'm going to fit those in, but we'll figure out a way to make this work. Thank you so much for watching this TBR. Please let me know in the comment section down below, are you joining in with your owls? And also, what are you planning to read in the month of April? Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to be updated every time I have a video and to make sure you don't miss out on those 30 books in 30 days reading vlogs. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye! And I know that